9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Say his name and he appears. I believe it said.
Say his name and he appears. If you hear the sound of my voice, that means it's a Monday night. That means there's Monday Night Raw that was watched. And we got to break down everything that we just saw and we just happened on Monday Night Raw. So I'm getting to you guys a little bit later than the show actually aired, but I just got through finishing everything. Wanted to make sure I wrap with y'all because it's been a while. It's been a while since we've done this as a group on Monday night. And this is the go-home show for Night of Champions, which apparently is still going on, despite everything that's going on in our societal climate. Night of Champions is still happening this weekend. So we now know who our finalists are going to be. We now know the entire match card, which I believe is going to be Cena, Punk, Cody, Randall. We got 2 women's matches on the card. And Solo, Jacob, now Sammy, and Karrion Kross. A lot of interesting stuff with Monday Night Raw tonight, if I'm being completely honest. But the matches itself, they weren't bad. I thought we had really good matches, but I want to start with, like, outside of what happened on the matches, I want to start with some of the interesting things that I noticed. And you guys let me know if you noticed them. But we had a couple backstage segments, and again, I'm going off my feed and what I saw on social media. I don't know if you guys saw these things as well, but it's very interesting. The backstage segment with Io and Asuka, and Io saying like, "Hey, we can finally get that match like we always wanted in Damage Control," and Asuka making it very clear we're not in Damage Control anymore. So it's very clear that all 3 women have gone their separate ways, which I think we heard about that internally. But at the same time, it seems like Io and Kairi still very much have each other's back. So I don't know where that goes for Asuka. I don't know if we're going to have a war over Kairi at some point. But I thought that was interesting. Also, in the backstage segment where Chad Gable is heckling Penta, Penta gets the upper hand on him backstage. Snaps his arm in half. There was Ludwig Kaiser just lurking in the background. I don't think we've seen Ludwig Kaiser in months, so I don't know what that's going to lead to, but definitely promising that he's backstage and being shown on television. So let's get into how we started Monday Night Raw. And we started it with the new alliance of Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, as well as Paul Heyman. And I got to give Seth Rollins some props here because, I mean, he's 100% right. The audience tonight, I forget where they were at, but it's kind of annoying how they literally cheered for everything. There was no, like, differentiating with who was who and what was what, but they cheered for everything. So calling them out on that you cheer for CM Punk, you cheer for Roman Reigns and clamor for the Tribal Chief to come back, but then you still cheering for Seth. What are we doing? Seth is clearly a heel. And he clearly should not be getting cheered for everything that he's putting the roster through. I, for one, am happy that Tsunamis are back. If you guys heard, they took out LA Knight on Friday Night SmackDown. Multiple Tsunamis. But Seth Rollins pretty much letting people know that regardless of who becomes champion, that this is the future of wrestling. This is the end game. It's the message he's had this whole time. I don't know if they'll actually go through with it. I think Braun's probably the hottest act in this stable right now, which is good. Fans love the barks. Fans love his action in the ring. But I don't know if putting the belt back on Seth has any relevance. I feel the same way about the way King and Queen of the Ring turned out. But I'll talk about that in a minute. Which we lead to our first action of the night, which is Braun Breaker taking on Penta. And these 2 men have chemistry. Great match. Love to see it. Love seeing Braun kind of step into new parts of his bag with athleticism, doing a freaking rolling thunder into a jumping knee strike. That man's athletic as hell. I'm wondering if his, I guess it's his cousin, whenever his cousin gets going, if he'll have that same type of pop and athleticism. But like Braun Breaker, this stable, I've said it on here before, this stable is almost like a disservice to him in all facets. He's so much more of a talent at this point of his career where he doesn't need a stable to be relevant. I mean, really all he needed was Heyman. And so that anything, they should just gave him Heyman because they teased it on NXT years ago. But at the end of the day, Braun continues on his hot streak and an amazing springboard spear moment. If you guys didn't see that, that's one of the parts of the match that you want to see. Pretty much ripped Penta in half. In fact, there's a lady in the front row, jumped up. Great emote, great reaction to seeing that spear live in the front row. But Braun takes him out. Seth Rollins goes over to Penta at the end of the match and said, hey, this is your one and final warning to stay out of my business. Then we get a video package. Actually, backstage, I think Pierce had something going on with the New Day. If you guys know, I didn't really hear it, but the New Day will be in action defending their tag team titles in the near future. I'm assuming it's going to be against the Viking Raiders again. There's not many other tag teams on the Raw landscape that would make sense right now. But we had a video package of Goldberg and with Michael Cole backstage. I think this is a good way to not over dilute Goldberg because we're only going to have him for a month. He's not the type of guy I need to see on my television every single week. They did the thing last week and we had the moment. And I mean, that's cool. Last week, you guys didn't get to watch along last week. And it was, they really backed themselves in the corner. Like they took the belt off Jay. It's a terrible secret about the Goldberg stuff, but to really go through with it for Atlanta Saturday Night Main Event, probably one of your headline matches. It's going to main event, but I don't know what they do from here. But Goldberg just pretty much, in short, saying like, I'm going to beat the fuck out of Gunther. We going to see. We can start taking the over-unders on this match really soon. We think it's going to be over or under 5 minutes. We know what the Ring General can do. Is the Ring General going to punish Gunther to that capability in that amount of time? Or are we going to get a true... saying classic feels so wrong. Are we going to get a true match to remember the Goldberg legacy by out in Atlanta? Who knows? Who knows? This is all stemming from Bad Blood last year, and Goldberg got to get his lick back. I love the fact that Gunther came out later tonight and called him Bill Goldberg because there was a huge Bret Hart sign in the back of that shot. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Queen of the Ring semifinals, Jade Cargill, Roxanne Perez. Great match, and I think we're continuing to see that Roxanne is, quote-unquote, the workhorse of this Raw division. I feel like since she's been called up officially, even before that, I think she's worked so many matches every week since she was kind of being rumored to the Raw brand, and she's showing that she can work with everybody. Roxanne looks good in the ring with everyone, so I think it won't be long before Roxanne takes gold on the main roster because she's showing how great she is in any storyline because she's dealing with the Judgment Day stuff. In ring, she's wrestled damn near majority of the roster, I feel like, of the Raw brand already, and she's looked stellar in every match. I mean, that match with Jay, just the contrast of styles, it fit. It fit really well. Jade picked up the win, and I can't even say it was expected for Jade to pick up the win because I think you could have bought Roxy sneaking one over on, but we're going to get Jade versus Asuka on Night of Champions, and that's a very interesting... I mean, I know we just got Asuka back, but Jade, to my knowledge, doesn't have a singles loss just yet. So is Asuka going to be the one? I mean, you certainly couldn't. I mean, you can buy it, or you can buy Naomi costing Jade being Queen of the Ring just on some hater shit. I can see it either way. But I think that'll be one of the interesting matches on Saturday night. One of our women's matches being the Queen of the Ring finals with Jade and Asuka. And I think that's a big stage for Jade, who's clearly ascended since she's debuted. But that'll be a huge test for her, the Asuka test. Next up, we had Gunther coming out, responding to Goldberg. Very short, succinct promo. Gunther said, hey, man, you're a one-trick pony to me at 58 years old. Pretty much let him know you can't fuck with me. Whatever you want to say, you at this age, you already can't hang with me. I'm the best wrestler in this entire company. And however you want to be remembered, I look forward to taking you out and that being your legacy. So honestly, guys, we'll do predictions of this when it gets closer here in July. But this is probably the scariest 50-50 booking ever, because it can really go one of two ways. Like, Gunther can nerf Goldberg, and it can be one of those things where Goldberg respects the business, goes out on his back, or we can get one of those Carney train wrecks where it's like, damn, Goldberg really went over Gunther and made it look like light work, and maybe Seth Rollins cashes in on Goldberg. I have no idea, but the way they're going to bill it, especially if these guys get physical in the month of July before Saturday Night Main Event, I can see them building up the story of Gunther losing, and maybe I can buy it, man, because, geez, the way Gunther was like scared in the corner last week to be out here talking hot shit this week, it doesn't add up. He was trembling in the corner last week at the sight of Goldberg, but teach their own. We'll see. But that's going to be our main event in a few weeks. We had the Intercontinental Championship in action with Bayley taking on Becky Lynch, defending that title. This was a great match. This is women's wrestling talk. Of course, you all love women's wrestling. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Great technical match with two of the four horsewomen. And I think you saw how much chemistry these two women had. And it was like nobody really got the upper hand too much at different times, to where Becky had to try to bury Bayley underneath the announce table just to get a count out. But Lyra Valkyria came out and helped Bayley, tried to give her a chance to fight for the title. But Lyra got in the way, like we expected. I think this will be a triple threat. I think it'll take place at Evolution, because you're going to need that championship on that card. And then it's going to be between all three women. Bayley, who's never held the title, but was also the first Women's Grand Slam champion. Becky, the current champion, and the inaugural champion. I think you can tell a really good story there as you continue to tease the dissension between Bayley and Lyra, just because Lyra cost Bayley the match by not keeping her cool, because Bayley kept getting licks in on her. But we know that this storyline with Lyra versus Becky has brought out the best personality in Lyra. Like, we actually can know and see who her character is. But with Bayley being intertwined in this, and Bayley seemingly want to capture that title too, adds another layer. I do dig the fact that Michael Cole referenced that Bayley was wearing her supposed WrestleMania gear tonight, that she didn't get to wear at WrestleMania because she got taken out. But I think that match is headed, I think, Evolution, because we have nothing announced for Evolution. And those plans of possible Bellas versus the tag team title champions, that's probably dead now. I don't know how they're going to pivot to go from that, just because Liv Morgan's now hurt and will probably be out to, if not November or December, it might not be till early 2026. So those plans kind of got screwed. We don't know what Raquel is going to do, but we'll be talking about Raquel in just a second. Backstage, we finally going to get the Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross match on the Night of Champions card. That's likely the match that's replacing what should have been Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles for Intercontinental Championship, just because we now know that Dominic is now hurt and not clear to compete just yet. So that match will get pushed down the line. Kross and Sami Zayn being sick of Kross whispering in his ears. This is one of the other interesting tidbits, because now the fans have been wanting Karrion Kross. He's been in backstage segments, but hasn't been in action. Now he's going to be in action at Night of Champions, which is seemingly a big stage, which is very good for, hey, using your voice, buying the merch, chanting his name. That type of stuff bodes well for the superstars, just emoting and letting the company know who you really want to root for. But this might tell a deeper story for Sami Zayn. And I think the cool thing about the story with Sami Zayn is, like, he's been the cowardly heel that rode the coattails of others. He's been like this, the underdog from underground. And we know that behind the scenes, you can look at all these different performers in the company and be like, hey, Cross had a hand in how this person's dark turn began or why they became the way they are. The stuff with Xavier Woods, now the New Day are heel. I think the stuff with I think he used to get at Rey Mysterio. There's so many stories that he can tie to, and he actually always co-signs this on Twitter. This could be the first time that we actually see one play out on screen after their match on Night of Champions. Boza saying that there's 6 matches. 1 more was added after Raw. I know that wasn't the Rhea and Raquel, right? Because I feel like they should hold that for Evolution. They should hold that for Evolution if they're going to do that match. That match always slaps when those 2 ladies get in the ring together, but they have to let that build. Like, it's not enough to show. He's saying this. Yeah, Boza's saying that it's Rhea and Raquel in a street fight. So Rhea did storm into Pierce's office after the brawl, which we can actually talk about real quick. Raquel Rodriguez came out and demanded Rhea Ripley after being accosted the Queen of the Ring last week. We know the history between Rhea and Raquel dates back to NXT. Always banger matches. Now, the cool thing is these women got into action here. Tables got involved. Rhea had the upper hand until Roxanne decided to get involved and try to help out Raquel, which led to Raquel dumping Rhea through a table via the Tejana bomb, literally taking Rhea out. I don't know how Rhea just walked backstage and stormed the Pierce office without showing any injury or sign of decline. So apparently we're going to have that street fight at Night of Champions. I personally think it should happen at Evolution. They should give it more time to build, but maybe Roxanne gets involved again. It seemed like Raquel was giving Roxanne props for executing that plan of luring Rhea in and putting her through a table. So maybe now that Liv is out, we get Roxanne kind of sliding into place, becoming a tag team champion the same way Naomi did with filling in for Jade. And maybe that leads into this whole storyline of Liv Morgan having another revenge tour as the Judgment Day starts to take to Roxanne. Maybe Roxanne becomes a women's world champion in that time frame, takes on the tag team titles, and then takes Dom. Same blueprint that Liv let down. So I can see us getting closer to something like that, which would be dope if they did it. And it protects Liv's character and gives her something to do when she returns. Keeps her at the top of the card. So street fight, Night of Champions. So that would make that. I feel like I'm missing one. I feel like there's another women's match that I'm missing, and it wasn't that. But we now know our main event, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso. First time these two have fought in singles action. And this was actually a really good match. A nice back and forth. I do like that Jey has become the guy that steals the finishers of his opponents. He's became that guy, hitting Cody with a crossroads, nailing a spear more than once. Of course, we got Super Cody, who took 2 super kicks to the mouth. Believe he took a spear or Uso splash, whatever he took, and then just hulks up, takes down Jey with one of the wackest cutters you'll ever see, and then eventually hits Crossroads. And now he's not runner up. He's in the finals. We're gonna get Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, and this is, to me, when the King of the Ring got announced, this was probably the worst possible outcome to me, because we don't need either. King Orton, he doesn't need it. King Cody, he doesn't need it, because he can just go call his shot at John Cena at any time in a rematch, because John Cena cheated. Randy Orton can call his shot versus anybody and say, hey, I want to add to my legacy and title belt. Neither one of these guys need a King of the Ring. Somebody else on the up and up needed King of the Ring. If you'd have told me LA Knight was going to win King of the Ring, okay, bet. You're just going to tell me somebody like Solo, whoever needs King of the Ring, bet. I can see these guys getting a title shot to help their characters stay afloat. Neither one of these guys, Randy or Cody, need their characters stay afloat. They're already at the top of the mountain. But King of the Ring finals, Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, Night of Champions. Queen of the Ring finals, Jade Cargill versus Asuka, which is going to be pretty fucking dope if you ask me, because that's a toss-up. That's a true toss-up that I don't know like what will happen either way if either woman becomes queen. But I mean, that's Monday Night Raw in a nutshell. Post saying, feels like they're doing more with the Queen of the Ring. King of the Ring is a damn joke. We were basically rebooking a rematch for John. Yeah, I agree. It's basically a way for SummerSlam to have Cody versus John Part 2. And you can only hope that they like button it up to where maybe The Rock gets involved again with the storyline, since we'll be damn near a third of the year in by that point. Maybe The Rock comes back in and is like, hey, like, I still want your soul, with something like that, man. That can't be that dead in the water. But Night of Champions coming up this weekend. Again, Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, King of the Ring finals. Asuka versus Jade Cargill, Queen of the Ring finals. John Cena taking on CM Punk. I love the interesting fact that they are actually 6-6 in head-to-head matches with one draw, one no contest. And so this is going to be their rubber match. And the last time these two will probably face each other, which is dope as hell. We got Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa, WWE United States Championship. Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez in the street fight. And, of course, Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross in the singles match, which would actually be cool because the Dom versus AJ Styles match, let's give that a bigger platform. Let's put that on Saturday Night Main Event if Dom is ready by then and it's not just a kayfabe injury. But how does Mir feel that Raw is at 6 p.m. in Pittsburgh next week due to double taping, with them taping SmackDown due to 4th of July being on Friday? I don't mind it. Next week's going to be a fun week because I just got off a holiday. 2 holidays, my birthday and Juneteenth, obviously, and then we're rolling right into another holiday. So Mira's going to have some extra free time next week to give you guys more Monday Night Raw content. But that's 20 minutes in. That's Monday Night Raw, y'all. I know we're going to have possibly a post show for Night of Champions. Watch along. We'll give you predictions on Friday. I don't know if there's a WWT Live earlier, but there will be one on Wednesday. We will have all the news for you because there's so many cool things in women's wrestling and the wrestling landscape that we got to share with y'all. And there's some cool stuff happening. Make sure you check out the WWT archive for all the women's wrestlers, past, present, future. We're also doing a series of where you can see the best matches of the week. So if you guys have any opinions, hit up the socials and let us know. Hashtag us, tag us and post on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, wherever, and let us know who had the best women's match of the week in your eyes. And of course, your mayor. You can catch me here time and time again on WWT Live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can catch me on the socials, Instagram and TikTok at cedistheanswer and says on Twitter, just like it shows on the screen. Until we meet again, I'll try to be on with WWT Live with y'all on Wednesday or at their best Friday. My work schedule is kind of kicking my ass, but bear with me and we'll have way more women's wrestling content for you. Check out some of my posts on TikTok. Like I said, got a bunch of interviews and content there. And I just uploaded my interview with Delmi Exo, who is now a free agent. So let me know where you want to see her next. Until I see y'all again, I'm the mayor. This is Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling platform and network on the planet.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at wwtalkpod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at wwtalkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.